Hey YouTube, it's Natalie from Canine Concepts, where I teach you how to train your dog with fun games. Did you know that walking your dog on a long line can help with loose lead walking, and it can also help improve their health and their well-being? But if you use it incorrectly, it can be dangerous for both you and your dog. I'm talking rope burn and blisters for you, and neck, spine, and even eye injuries for your dog. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use a long line effectively and safely. The first method is using your long line hands-free with the help of a multifunction lead. To do this, you're first going to rig up your multifunction lead so it hangs across your body like a sash. You're then going to clip the free end to the handle of your long line. This setup means that you've got two hands free to play training games with your dog. Your dog has the freedom to move around, but they're still attached to you, so they're nice and safe. The games that you can play while your dog is on a long line is really only limited by your imagination. One thing to keep in mind though is just to make sure that the long line isn't wrapped around your leg before you go throwing a frisbee. That's how those rope burns happen. I took Havoc down the beach so I could demonstrate the second long line technique for you, but when we got there he was so pepped up he couldn't think and he couldn't really focus. So I wanted to show you what I do in the moment to help them get in a space where they can learn. Just a little note too, I have not got Havoc on a long line here, I've got him on a short lead. If I'm using a long line, I want to make sure that the dog's in a nice calm headspace.
Can you eat a couple of pieces on the floor?
Nope.
He is high as a kite and he can't eat. And there's absolutely no reason to keep walking forward while he's like this, because it's not going to go well. There we go, bit of scatter feeding.
Encouraging a dog to scatter feed is a great hack.
Good, I love that he's using his nose now. This is amazing. This is really cool because sniffing helps bring down their arousal level. Beautiful. There were some studies done on how sniffing affects dogs' heart rate, and the more dogs are allowed to sniff and explore, the lower their heart rate is. So allow your dog to do these things. It's really, really good for them. It's really good for their health and their well-being. Good man. Good job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lure him to the end of this walkway. Let's go. His nose is involved in something important. What? Too exciting! Too much movement going forward, so let's try again. And then we'll come all together. Good job, all together, and you can see my lead's nice and loose. I'm gonna get him straight into a game. Yeah, lovely magic hand game. Oh, we have segues. Chaos, come! Yay! There you go. There you go. Good boy, well done. Good job, Squish, well done. So I'm switching him onto the long line now. I'm going to show you Grisha Stewart's behaviour adjustment training leash handling skills. Now I really love this technique because it's going to give the dog maximum freedom to go around, be a dog, sniff, lower their heart rate, but also the lead is going to be there as a backup just in case I need to get his attention and get him away. So we hold the handle, we're going to slip it over our hand, we're going to take it up our palm and hold it between our thumb and our forefinger. Then we're going to gather the rest of the lead, because there's so much left over, we're going to gather the rest of the lead into butterfly loops. I'm going to lay the loops of the lead just across my palm, one side and then the other, across the palm and then across the palm. I'm going to keep my loops quite big. Now the reason that I want to do butterfly loops rather than traditional loops, these have got much less chance of getting tangled like that. And once I've got the full length of the lead gathered up into my loops, I'm going to hold my hands in what Grisha calls basic position. My free hand is just going to support that part of the lead. We're going to have the free part of our lead hanging around about near where our knees are, and we're going to deliberately stay nice and balanced and relaxed. The more relaxed we can be, the more relaxed our dogs can be. Holding the lead off their back helps give them the sense of feeling like they're completely off lead, but we've still got the lead as a backup. Grisha describes it a little bit like a parachute. We only need it when we need it. So what we can see is that the lead is just gently resting at knee height. The rest of the lead is nice and loose. Chaos's arousal level is beautiful. You can see he's just wandering, ambling along, and that's exactly what we want. Oh, good man. Havoc did a wonderful check-in there, so I'm gonna feed him. And this is just some of their dinner, it's nothing special. And we love to use this sort of technique when there's lots and lots of stuff for them to explore and sniff. So if you're wanting to practice your loose lead walking, look for an environment where there's lots of stuff for your dog to explore and lots of things for them to sniff. You can see this beach is actually quite barren. If Chaos was a beginner, it would be better to find a part of the beach where there was, say, seaweed washed up. And you can see it's absolute nonsense that harnesses make dogs pull. It's not the equipment you use, it's the concepts that we develop. That's how we stop dogs pulling on lead. This is a really great demonstration of how to use the long line with the bat leash handling techniques. I can allow him a little bit more freedom by feeding out a butterfly loop. And anytime he pauses and I need to get a bit closer, I can just lay that butterfly loop back across my hand and come in a bit closer to him. If I drop that lead, he's got so much more pressure hanging off his back. And that extra pressure can add tension and it can add arousal. The last thing that we want is high arousal. Oh no! I got a bag! Oh, there it is! I got it! Responsible dog owner no matter where you are. What I'm going to show you next is a slow stop. I don't want to suddenly stop him. It puts a lot of pressure through his joints. And you can imagine what that would be like on a collar. It'd be like someone coming up and karate chopping you in the throat. And the science actually backs this up. There was some research done at the University of Nottingham and they looked at different collars. They found out that it's actually not the type of collar that's the issue. It's the fact that they're wearing a collar at all. That pressure from a dog either pulling or people jerking the lead using leash corrections, that pressure is enough to do damage to the dog's neck and to cause pressure buildup in the dog's eyes, which can lead to macular degeneration. This is my braking distance. I'm going to allow it to slowly go through my hands. Bring him to a stop. And then allow the lead to go loose again. Let's come up onto the sand because we're chasing fish. He is an absolute mental case at the moment. That environment is too hard. I've brought him up here. It's a really complex environment. There'll be lots and lots of different smells and that will help bring his arousal down. Great little tip for the beach. It got a piece of sand in there. For a deaf dog who's not in the right headspace to be off lead, that could be really, really dangerous. So I'm just gonna move my clip back and forth and make sure it's closing correctly. Right, so now that he's all nice and safe, I'm gonna cue him to go sniff to help try and bring that arousal down a little bit. Get his attention, good job. I'm gonna cue, go sniff. Lift up this side of the lead so he feels as off lead as possible. And if I ever need to slow stop him, gently allow the lead to go through my hands, just stop him, and then he can come back. Let him go sniff. I'm gonna just let out a little bit more lead, and as he stops, I can take that butterfly loop up again and lay it over my hand. This is perfect. So again, I'm just gonna cue him to go sniff and see if we can lower that arousal. This is beautiful. You can see this is a much more complex environment than the beach. The beach is literally one long strip. So what does that promote dogs to do? Walk really fast. You can see how using a long line prevents pulling, because if he does go in front, I can just let out another loop. And so the lead is not actually tight at any point. He's free to explore, he's still safe. So if you're in an area with leash laws, you can still be legal and allow your dog to sniff, explore, bring down their arousal. Sniffing is a really great way to boost positive neurotransmitters in their brain. Overall, it's just great for their welfare. And again, no pulling. Harnesses do not make dogs pull on lead. And it's really great for us too, because especially with a deaf dog, I know that he's not going to go anywhere. Okay, he's stopped sniffing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move in closely, bring up my butterfly loops, and at no time while I'm shortening the lead am I going to put tension on his harness. So just bringing up my butterfly loops, and then he's free to go and explore again. You can see I'm holding the lead off his back so he feels nice and free. He's exploring beautifully. This is exactly what we want. This is a picture perfect walk. Just gonna slow stop him. Good, and I'm gonna cue him, go sniff up there. Again, he started sniffing, so I can bring up my butterfly loops, make the lead a little bit shorter so I can get in close. The closer you are to your dog, particularly your deaf dog, the easier it's going to be to communicate with them. Chaos, you're a nightmare. Okay, I'm going to show you a technique called mime pulling. At the moment, he's kind of interested in what's going on up there, and I need to get his attention. So I'm going to run my hands down the lead, and I'm going to come in nice and close. I'll show you. So I'm running my hands down the lead. I'm just going to allow it to slide through my hand. Beautiful. And as he turns to me, I'm going to give him his marker and then reward. I'll show you it again. You go have a sniff. Good. I'm going to run my hands down the lead, get in nice and close, get in his peripheral vision. We're going to turn around together and go for a walk together.
I love using mime pulling if a dog's ever distracted and they can't turn away on their own. It's a nice gentle way to get their attention but not add pressure and not add arousal to the situation.
He's distracted by fish. Good man! How amazing was that? He saw a distraction and he turned away immediately all by himself. Just moments ago he was trying to chase the fish, and there what was a trigger turned into a cue to come and pay attention to me. Good man. Very good man. He's swimming! He's swimming! Oh my God, he's swimming! This is the first time ever he's swum. Oh, yay! Come to me, my little man.
So there you have it, 2 different ways to use a long line to help improve your dog's loose lead walking and help them sniff to improve their welfare. Make sure you tune in next time when I share even more loose lead walking tips, and I chat to a professional snake catcher who helps me clean up my yard and stops it from being such a snake hazard.